right now I am in a city where nobody knows who I am, which means I can create chaos. I probably don't do that, not my style. I'm looking for something industrial. One-way street. I don't know anything around here. It just rained last night. I don't like riding on brick when it's wet. I'm looking for something industrial because I'm trying to find a good spot where I can do a parody video of Raging R6 and his intro. It's my way of friendlyly picking on somebody. And I think this may do it. Damn it. Too much traffic. So in the meantime, while I'm looking for somewhere to do this, I'll go ahead and answer the questions that he unofficially / officially, he says, tagged me in to answer these questions. So, I've got my notes here. Here we are. Notes. So, when did you start riding motorcycles? Started riding motorcycles in May of 2002. Went to a motorcycle safety course, got my license, bought a motorcycle about 2 days later, and the rest is history. It was about 14 years ago now. So, been riding for 14 years. I've ridden all over the country. I've owned different motorcycles. I've built motorcycles from scratch. Just, you know, my whole life has been inundated with motorcycling ever since I threw my leg over that first saddle. Why did you start riding? A little bit more complicated. But I started riding basically to piss my father off. I mean, I thought that him and I, we never really gotten along. I'd always had problems with him. And I remember growing up, he'd always tell me, oh, you don't want a motorcycle, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, you know, and I was really little. My mom had picked me up from school one day. This is in Southern California, is where I grew up. She'd picked me up from school, and right across the street there was a car had pulled out going the wrong way and hit this guy on a motorcycle head on. And I remember seeing, even maybe 4 or 5 years old, the guy flips off the back of the motorcycle. The bike flips up into the air, comes down, lands right on his chest, broke his jaw, shattered his rib cage. I mean, just annihilated this guy. He did end up surviving, but I was always, you know, being that young and seeing something like that, I thought, well, you know, I mean, it stuck out. And I wasn't initially, you know, excited about motorcycles, but I'd always stuck out. And little by little, you know, the curiosity got the best of me. And so when I finally got old enough to do it, well, I did it. What was your first motorcycle? I actually have video of my first motorcycle. This is a Honda Shadow VLX 600. It's a 583 cc liquid-cooled V-twin. Badass little bike in its day. I mean, and I customized it. You know, again, I didn't know a whole lot about motorcycles. I didn't know that customizing was the cool thing to do. And I started customizing it. And, well, I mean, it went on from there. What is your dream bike? Well, I'm sitting on her. This is a 2011 Harley-Davidson Crossbones. And, well, it's my dream bike. In 2007 to 2008 model years were released. And I used to get a lot of motorcycle magazines. I was looking for products, for parts. I was building a Yamaha, which I still have. That's the chopper, and I'll end up showing that to you guys eventually. And so yeah, I started looking through these magazines, so I came across this article about the new Dark Custom series that Harley-Davidson was putting out. Now, mind you, prior to this time, Harley Davidson had done nothing to ever make me happy. I mean, they'd only pissed me off. I hated Harley Davidson. And I hated them for the simple fact that they were just freaking arrogant assholes. You know, I go in 2005 when I bought my Yamaha Roadstar, they had, I mean, basically shooed me right out of the store. I went in there with cash. I went in there with 20 grand in my pocket. I was in the military. I had a lot of money. And I went in to go buy a Fat Boy. And I was going to get a black Fat Boy with the fuel injection, which was an option back in 2005. And it's really not that long ago, really, if you think about it, 11 years. But man, when I say it out loud, it sounds like a long time ago. But anyway, fuel injection was an option. It wasn't regular. You pay for it. You get it. What, do you want carbureted? Do you want fuel injection? Well, I want fuel injection. Okay, well, here you go. And so I was talking to the guy, and I'm just like, you know, but yeah, I said, I want something that I can get onto the freeway. I don't want to have to, I want something fast. I don't want to have to worry about, you know, getting run over by semis or anything else. And, you know, I didn't know anything about Harleys at the time. You know, they were the cliche. So I didn't really worry about it. I didn't know a whole lot about them. And he goes, well, if you want, you want a fast motorcycle, then don't get a Harley. And if you want this, then don't get a Harley. And I'm a dick, and if you don't want to suck dicks, then don't get a Harley. You know, so I was like, you know what, screw you. I took my money and I went and bought something else. And then over the years, I ultimately ruined that motorcycle. Swore I would never do it again. Had another motorcycle in between. And I'd been looking, and you know, and I started saving. For years, I'd saved and saved and saved. When I first saw it in 2007, I started saving. And this is a 2011. So you're thinking, well, gosh, why did it take you 4 years or 5 years to get one? Well, I'll tell you why. My whole goal was to wait and get a 2013 model year. And I was going to, I was going to have a 2013 model year, and I wanted to pay cash. That was the whole goal. I didn't want to have a motorcycle payment. I just wanted to pay cash for one. But, you know, I couldn't be without a motorcycle in the meantime. So I got something cheaper. I hated it. That's a different story for another time. But I called Harley Davidson up one day. I was working on the chopper, and I went to go buy some parts, and I called Harley Davidson up and was asking, and they said, oh yeah, well, that, you know, the Crossbones, it's being discontinued. You know, the Dark Custom Series is going away. It only ran for 4 years. It went from 2008 model year to 2011 model year. And I said, well, this isn't going to do. I said, I need a Crossbones. I cannot let that motorcycle get away from me. I just can't. So I talked to my wife, and over lunch, she's like, you know what, we've done, you know, you've been saving for all these years, and we've gotten all this taken care of. I said, let's just go and buy one. And here it is. And before I bought it, I already had a lot of ideas about what I would want to do to one, had I ever gotten one. And over the years, I've put a lot of money and I put a lot of work into this motorcycle, but I've also done all the work myself. I've got a huge sense of pride when it comes to this motorcycle, and I'm just extremely lucky and fortunate to have it. It was something that I thought that it wouldn't even, you know, it wasn't going to happen for me. So off-road or street? Obviously, I like street. I think off-road motorcycles are cool. I'd love to get something like an enduro. Ultimately, I will, when I get some property within the next year or so, I will end up building something like a Pro Street or an enduro, just to have the fun. But for the most part, if I could only have one, definitely be the street. I ride this motorcycle every single day. I ride it everywhere. I ride it all over the country. So it's more important to me to be able to go wherever, whenever I want to. Have you ever fallen or been in an accident? Yes. 2 serious ones. One in 2004 and one in 2006. Both cars turned left in front of me. I'm not going to promise that I've got pictures, but I'll see if I can find some, and if I do, then I'll insert them here so you can take a look. But yes, 2 times the car turned left in front of me. One was that on that Roadstar that I still have, and it's one of the reasons why it's got a new front end. Which motovloggers are you subscribed to? A lot. Jake the Garden Snake, he's in Dallas. He was the first motovlogger I'd ever seen. I'd never seen a motovlogger. This was a few years ago. I'd never seen one. I thought the premise was really cool. The guy's just crazy. And he's done some really cool product reviews and other things too. He's not just always a goof. And I thought that was really badass. So from there I started branching out. More recently, Boris on Bikes. He's in Southern California. Motonosity, who is about 90 miles north of where I live. He's in Austin. I'm near San Antonio. So I'm subscribed to a lot of motovloggers. I don't know who all, or too many to name. Even some of the smaller guys like Q-Ball Productions, and he's in Europe. Cool guy. He reached out to me. A Z1R, really cool guy. Spoken to him outside of YouTube, which is why I'm doing this video right now. There's a link to his channel in the description as well. So if you want to go check him out, cool guy, loud and crude, but I don't know where I'm going. Let's just go to Wichita, why not? So yeah. Now, last question. Does your bike have a name? Yes, she does. I've already explained to you the reason why I got her, why she's my dream bike. It was not but for the grace of God that I was able to get this motorcycle, because I didn't plan it out. I mean, it was an expensive purchase, and it was something that wasn't planned out. So being able to have all my ducks in a row financially, just up and say, yeah, I'm going to buy that motorcycle, that doesn't happen every day. Certainly not for me. So, but I mean, if we want to get a little less serious about it, in Ghost Rider, there's a scene where he tosses Johnny's father, he tosses him the keys and says, "You think you're man enough to handle Grace?" And me being a huge Marvel fan and an even bigger Ghost Rider fan, I was like, that's the name. So there you have it. That's where I came up with the name Grace. And look, I've got it right here. Grace. I made this leather piece and I put her name on it. So there you go. In the meantime, I'm going to be cruising around looking for a place to make fun of Z1R. Alright guys, I've also recently set up a Facebook account, an Instagram, and of course you've got my YouTube channel, which is where you're at right now. So, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I'm posting lots of pictures, starting to anyway, getting the hang of it. I've never done it before, so just bear with me. And, well, thanks for stopping by. Catch up with you guys later.